Aloha, this is Anna Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Monday. Oh my gosh, June 23rd, 2025. It's Secret Word Day on YouTube. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am going to cover everything from the time that the airstrikes hit the nuclear sites in Iran to today. President Trump is sounding like one of us. He's sounding like an anon. He's dropping a bunch of clues and hints, and I want to go over all of that because this podcast is for anons. The ripple effects of the Iranian strikes on their nuclear sites, and all roads lead to Barry. But before I go on, we still have the contest. Today is the last day. I'm going to drop the secret word. Then we're going to start a new contest next month. The contest for the secret word for the day is every Monday this past month, and today I will drop a secret word. Now, I'm not going to drop it right now. I'll drop it in the middle of this podcast, only on YouTube. And then when we do on Wednesday, the following Wednesday on the 25th, I will drop the form. The first 5 people to fill out that form, hit the submit button with the correct answer, wins a prize. So we've already have 15 winners already. Now, if you are joining us on Locals and on X, some people are just joining us on X just for 1 month because they want to enter this contest. When you get all 4 of those secret words in order, it's a phrase. It's just kind of giving you a hint. It's a phrase. Then we will put your name in for a drawing. We will have the drawing through a wheel, a live show, and you will win a 1-week vacation. It is accommodations only in Kissimmee, Florida, Orlando, Florida. It's a really, really nice resort called Orange Lake Resort. So that is, and it's from the 27th of July through August 2nd. You don't have to stay the full 7 days. For whatever days you would like to stay is available for you. So come join us over on X as a subscriber or locals at santasurfing.locals.com. What was very interesting is we're seeing a general that came out of retirement, and he was the one that led the way for the missile strikes. Listen to what he says about the success of the operation.
But initial battle damage assessments indicate that all 3 sites sustained extremely severe damage and destruction. More than 125 U.S. aircraft participated in this mission, including B-2 stealth bombers, multiple flights of 4th and 5th generation fighters, dozens and dozens of air refueling tankers, a guided missile submarine, and a full array of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, as well as hundreds of maintenance and operational professionals. But initial battle damage.
General CAINE laid out the entire operation in detail. I'm not going to play that clip, but you can click on the link below where it says General CAINE's details. When he's talking about all of these, he's talking about B-2 stealth bombers. He's talking about fighter jets, fighter planes, dozens and dozens and dozens of refueling planes. How could the world not? And they did this in stealth mode. Now, to give you an example of how incredible and how precise this operation was, Paratrooper Brady on X posted this. Here's a good video explaining how the GBU-57 bunker buster works. Check this out.
How does the 30,000-pound GBU-57 bunker buster punch through 60 meters of concrete? Let's take a closer look at this massive earth-penetrating bomb. Dropped from 30 kilometers up by a B-2 stealth bomber, it accelerates under gravity and aerodynamic shaping to reach supersonic speed. The moment it hits, the impact energy is like lightning striking steel, pure kinetic force. Its warhead is made of a nickel-chromium steel alloy, tougher and more heat-resistant than standard steel, allowing it to survive the violent impact intact. Its streamlined body and adjustable tail fins, similar to J-dams, ensure the bomb strikes at the optimal angle for penetration. GPS and inertial guidance systems give it pinpoint accuracy within 1.2 meters. But why doesn't it explode on contact? A delayed fuse triggers the warhead about 0.3 seconds after impact. Some versions even use a multi-stage fuse. The first charge opens a path, and the second pushes deeper before the main warhead detonates. Even if it doesn't fully penetrate, the blast, 10 times more powerful than any other U.S. conventional bomb, can destroy everything within 600 meters.
Isn't that amazing? All right, and now we have Space Force that's helping to lead the way. Imagine how precise and the military going in stealth mode. James Myers, he corrected me, and I appreciate this, James. Because I said one of the nuclear sites was 29 feet deep. He says actually 300 feet underground is where their labs are located, and Trump sent the missiles down the air vent. How huge is that, right? So thank you so much, James and Paratrooper Brady, for enlightening us. And this part of the podcast is for those way in the back, right? The ones that are sleepy, not the sleepers, the ones that are just like sleepy conservatives are like, oh, well, okay, whatever. President Trump was trying to prevent a nuclear fallout. Now, this is just a video, a short clip of what happened in Hawaii when we had our 38 minutes of we don't know what the heck is going on and saying goodbye to your loved ones. But check this out. This is just the alert itself. It's not the, well, I'll get to more details on this here. Check this out. We had this transmitted all across all streaming TV, cable TV, through our radio stations, and then we got this on our phone alert: ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii, seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. That's it. On Oahu, the families are putting their children down manholes so that they can keep them protected, because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't get any kind of idea. But what we were fearful of is having a nuclear bomb hitting Hawaii. And it was really those that, and there's a lot of comments on this post about people that were there at the time or visiting at the time. And it was just the 38 minutes of just absolute terror. And Anon asked about where did the missile go, blown up in the sky? And then Q responded with F-16s intercepted. So what happened back then was so pure. It was just, you had, past tense, a regime, North Korea, that was very hot-headed. And the only way they knew how to respond is, let's just go ahead and blow a missile. Let's go ahead and give a threat. Let's go ahead and do what we need to do. Starve our people, have crimes against humanity, do all those bad things. Then the missile hit. Then we find out later on it was intercepted. We weren't getting a straight answer. The governor was even of Hawaii at the time. He couldn't give a straight answer. He was saying that they hit a switch. It was a wrong switch. The password was on a Post-it note on that computer with the switch. None of it was making any sense. That's when I really, really, really became a hardcore anon. And then it was like, I'm not stopping here because it was really horrible. But what President Trump was trying to do, he's trying to prevent from any of this happening anywhere in the world. A year and a half later, he ends up making a peace deal with Kim Jong-un, because Kim Jong-un was like, okay, I'm the rocket man. Now, Carolyn Levitt, on our presser last week, she talked about trust Trump, and he will make a decision within 2 weeks. Well, it ended up being 24 hours. Actually, by Iranian time, it was it turned out to be 2 days. And we bombed Iran. Now we had the presser with Pete Hegseth and General Dan CAINE. And I think is awesome. But this is what President Trump had said last week on the day before the bombing.
Be that of a peacemaker? Do you worry that striking Iran would change that?
Always a peacemaker. That doesn't mean sometimes you need some toughness to make peace, but always a peacemaker.
Remember, President Trump, especially through his El Donato account, had sent so many hints about what was happening, what was going on. So all roads leads to Obama, because Obama, in this Q post, he was involved in this Q39. Why, after Barack Obama left office, all of a sudden North Korea has nukes and the tech to miniaturize for payload delivery within the United States. Okay, and then up here it says, who feeds North Korea with strategic intel? Iran? What deal was done with Iran under Barack Obama? All right, no, so they were giving us so many hints, and this was back when Q first got started. Of course, they couldn't share the deep dive intel, and I'll share a little bit more later today in my next little second half of this podcast. And then, of course, Obama is a traitor. In this Q post, this is in Q 2180, and it ends with, Define traitor, a person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust, a person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. Synonym is renegade. What was the United States Secret Service code name for Hussein? Renegade. But who else is Q referring to? It's not just Obama. How many other quote unquote traitors are out there, right? How many were out there? And isn't that what happened with, our DC? And then over here, this is a Q post. Why I'm referring to Q? Because from the last podcast that I had given, actually the one on Friday before the Iranian strike, it really did refers to the direct comms, meaning that these comms are coming from the Trump team, President Trump and the Trump team. They're not coming from us anymore. And they're more or less saying, read the comms, get the comms, because we're going to be dropping a lot of it. So I do believe that a lot of stuff we're seeing right now is only what Anons can see. Q1454, it was a June 11th Delta, and it warned us about Iran and Obama. It said, EU sanctions Iran. Leaders of EU only care about protecting flow of money, not the safety and security of the people of the world. Iran deal orchestrated for the sole purpose of lifting sanctions to allow access to foreign businesses for individuals and company-wide enrichment. Do you see where this is all going, guys? Nothing to do with nukes cover. Hussein, pallets of cash. Hussein's secret authority to convert U.S. dollar. More coming. No media coverage. No MSN coverage. Got popcorn. Then the Delta for tomorrow, June 24th, and I'm going to go through this again, is these two, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, with their treason codes. That's a war news post. And then, of course, President Trump says, did I say 2 weeks? I meant 2 days, right? And we do want to thank President Trump, Pete Hegseth, and General CAINE for taking us through this whole process. So this is what happened recently. Remember when President Trump went to Fort Bragg and he gave his rally speech? And he hinted on 4 weeks. Listen to this.
Fear than the United States Army. They all fear us, and we have the greatest force anywhere on earth. You read different stories that others are building and building and building. We have a force like no other. They said it would take 5 years to defeat ISIS. We did it in 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
What was his calm on the 4 weeks, right? And now, and remember, he was out there on June 11th. So it's going to put us right into the middle of July. Is this all going to settle down before the 4th of July? I don't know. I'm not going to quote dates. I'm just throwing that out there. He's been sending us comms for many weeks now. And Anons, we're on board of what's happening. But the big news right now is that Iran is now bombing Israel. And what I'm not seeing on President Trump's truth page, the media, the fake MAGAs, they're out there pushing what they can to take away the incredible win President Trump had over the weekend. And instead, they're really elevating the Iran and Israel. Now, I hate to say this, but weren't they bombing each other before? And then President Trump came in and took out the nuclear sites, right? And now they're going out there, and the media and the fake MAGAs are out there doing what they're doing to not give President Trump and his team the credit they so deserve. There's not one post about the concern that President Trump has about what is going on. And I'm going to throw this out there, and you guys might say, oh my gosh, if it's even going on, because the news is right now, they're scrambling. There's nothing that's verifying it from President Trump. And President Trump, he would be putting something out there immediately. Maybe he will later on today, but for right now, I'm not seeing it. But now the Trump cons are for surfers and anons. That's it. And the real MAGA that held their line. And President Trump through Ildenauda is really thanking the real MAGA for holding their line. The secret word for today is you. Y-O-U. You. That's the secret word for today. You. President Trump, he posted the very same identical post, 2 different timestamps, right? One is 11:25, one is 11:27. Today, I'm not going to go through those posts. I'm going to go through the codes. A couple of things, 11:25 a.m. and 11:27 a.m. It's a short thread. It's happening. Let me just kind of walk you through it. Q11:25. Just going to scroll right down here. Well, this one might be important too for Kash Patel. FBI burning the midnight oil. But down here, it's happening. Q again, stealth mode, stealth mode, stealth mode. 11:27 for the other time he posted the same post, the Q post. A clean house is very important. Q. Our comms must be this way. Refer back to the Y. Here we go. A clean house is very important. Our comms must be this way. Refer back the Y. National security laws. Trust the plan. April showers. Q. Okay? So kind of throwing that out there. President Trump warned us that something big is going to happen next week, which happened, I think it started on Saturday. But he did say he did talk about this. I shared this in last week's podcast, but how it's a short clip that says, I've had it, puts his hands up, very obviously puts his hand up as 5-5, again, 5-5, loud and clear, his hand comes. And then, but listen to what he said. Not a lot of anons picked up on it. And then we go blow up all, and then he kind of stopped the nuclear stuff. This was on, this speech was on the 18th. It was last Tuesday. Now, how is it that he knew about the strike? Listen to what he says. And then he was also saying, they're saying death to America, death to anyone else that they didn't like. Was he referring to our domestic terrorists here in America, D.C., Congress, that are inciting the street thugs to go ahead and riot? Because he was saying they're bullies, schoolyard bullies. The next week is going to be very big. Check this out. Yeah, so President Trump, he pretty much was saying he was giving us a big calm, puts the 5-5 up, but he was also surrounded by those with white hard hats. I find that very interesting. And only one person with a black hard hat. And look at the angle of the presser. So there's a black hat and then there's white hats. Again, white hats dominating the black hats. Is that what he's trying to share with us? That there's still black hats out there that we got to take down? And President Trump, he posted this. He posted this yesterday. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why would there be a regime change? MIGA, make Iran great again. Regime change. Okay, so free Iran, fight, regime change. People have the power. We stand with you. Cued. So let's do a little paradigm shift. We know oftentimes regime refers to a form of dictatorship, right? And the swamp wanted us, the people, to bow down to them, and we would be their slaves only to enrich themselves and their contractor buddies to get these contracts for a war. Defense contractors. Could regime change in the United States because it be the regime change here in the United States because the deep state in America treats the people of America so poorly? They fight for illegals, they fight for criminals, and they fight for thugs, right? Of course, because they're criminals themselves, but was he really referring to America? Unconditional surrender? Did they unconditionally surrender? We're seeing Fetterman out there now backing Trump and what his moves are. Are we going to see a little bit more of that? We're seeing Republicans that claim to be Republicans that are just trashing Trump. There's many of them out there in Congress. So I'm wondering if he is talking about a regime change that's going on. It has to be in stealth mode. Remember, Luzaberry, he bowed down to the supreme leader, the Ayatollah. I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, he bowed down to his puppet masters that he funded, and he also provided nukes to, right? So that's why we're in the position we're in right now. I analyzed this photo. I went to photo forensics because I wanted to see if this was a CGI. It's not. All right. So when the swamp is exposed, it will have a ripple effect. The swamp is exposing themselves on social media by turning on President Trump. Now, again, not just people in Congress. It's just the swamp in general kind of runs deep. President Trump, he continues to remind us that the real MAGA held the friggin' line, and he thanks you so much. You didn't flinch. That's what he really needs. Remember, President Trump, he likes people that are loyal. He will hire somebody in before he became the president. He was businessman Trump. He will hire somebody over their academic background. He will hire them based on loyalty. If you've ever watched any of his Apprentice episodes, he talks about loyalty. He doesn't want people fighting, backstabbing each other. He wants people to be loyal to something, stand for something, or otherwise you fall for everything. So with a lot of events unfolding, President Trump, he cannot announce their moves. Okay, so I'm wondering if that's why we're seeing a lot of stealth photos, stealth planes. He in the military and the welcome home boys, stealth planes. Dan Scavino's posting stealth moves and stealth planes. So is it that they still need to remain in stealth mode because of what's coming up? One of President Trump's truth posts is that he posted this. Sometimes I look at one of his truth if I have the time, and it's just like, oh man, this is prime for a gematria decode, because it's like certain letters are capitalized, certain words are capitalized. So I took all of them, and I put it right in here, and it came out to one code of 582. 582 leads to Q582. And you know what I'm loving too? A lot of you guys are on it, man. You're checking, you're verifying to see if Trump's tweets, truth posts are valid. You guys are on there doing, man, you're doing a lot of great decoding. It's really helping because we need all hands on deck. But Q582, first words are stay at home, colon, stay at home, lowercase, and then that symbol -7. So is it 7 days, 7 days ago, 7 days from now, right? DR, noon, clear sky, a safe, calm, sat, and then a code. All right, I don't know what that means. It's military stuff, but thought I'd just share that, not to scare anyone. Tomorrow's Delta, June 24th, Delta shows Barack Obama and Joe Biden and their criminal codes, right? And then right here, so just be prepared. We already know the real ones got dealt with. We already know that President Trump has validated that one of them got dealt with. But the other one, there's been a lot of signs about him disappearing when he's doing a speech, especially at Joe Biden's fake inauguration, and he just kind of faded in, faded out, faded in, faded out when he was doing a speech. Kind of weird. Anyway, is this going to be coming up? President Trump, he honors and thanks our Almighty God. He said so in his speech, especially the one on his national address on Saturday. What was really big about this one is that the whole world was watching.
There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General CAINE, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
So it sounds like there's still a secret operation going on, and perhaps the fake news going out there talking about something else other than what President Trump had accomplished. It is dominating the social media waves right now. President Trump, through his Il Donato account, he now is going there, all right? He says, Dear Khamenei, who is the alleged supreme leader of Iran, you're blinking dead. He's already telling us right now, guys. So, you know, all of these movie things have to play out for the normies and for the sleepies and for the timing. So thank you for your attention to this matter. President Trump's truth on real Donald Trump, as well as on his ex. He's ending many of his demands on, thank you for your attention to this matter. And this one here is it's a flag that's attached to a stealth bomber. He sent this message out immediately. He sent this message out, and then he sent another one for the Department of Energy. But this one right here, he is saying, earlier today, he tweeted, or truth, everyone, keep oil prices down. I'm watching. You're playing right into the hands of the enemy. Don't do it. So those that are living in, and there was a ton of posts of saying, hey, Santa, my oil or my gas is still over $5. It's just really expensive. And I thought, goodness gracious. And those people are... They're saying that they live in these certain states, and all the states they mention are all liberal states. So President Trump, he's gonna, don't mess with him. Don't mess with the American people, because President Trump, he is pulling out his sword so he can go ahead and fight back. And then he posted this shortly thereafter. He says, to the DOE, drill, baby, drill, and I mean now. And the Department of Energy Secretary, he posted, on it, sir. So they're getting their messages, and we're seeing it in real time. And as President Trump, he sends many messages about just really sit back and just watch the movie play out. I know for podcasters like myself, I have to go ahead and live the two timelines to make sure I stay on the narrative for the people that are still asleep. But for you, you know what's already gone on. You know it already happened. I know it's kind of boring just to sit back and eat popcorn and nuts, right? And watch all the nutty people out there. But we got to see it all play out. And when it does start to all come out publicly, we will be dancing like a Sammy dance. And we'll be dancing. So get your little dancing shoes ready, because President Trump is also hinting on his El Donato account about he can't wait until July 4th. He's like, I can't wait for the 4th of July. Yeah, neither can we. And it's only a week and a half away. It's going to be crazy, crazy good. So just have our faith. Just keep trusting God, knowing that God has got this and he has got you, and just to keep the faith. You know, when you have the faith, yes, but then also having the positive outlook. I know it's really hard to have both sometimes when you're really down and out, but keep your eyes on God and appreciating every single time. Somebody had sent me a message saying that, Santa, I've just been waking up with a different attitude, and she's having some very hard times in all fronts, and in relationship, in her finances and other things. And she was saying that, but I am waking up every day and just thanking God. And I'm thinking, for a pillow, a roof over her head, water to drink, food, what she has in her cabinets. And she said, I just get blessed every single day. And I'm thinking, this is so fantastic. She even said a miracle. She didn't tell me what it was. So I thought that it does work. But having a grateful attitude to our God Almighty is really the key to getting through this next phase that we're going to have to go through. So hang in there. We are really close this time. God bless you abundantly. Big, big, big surfer hugs to all of you. Keep dancing the Sammy dance, and we will have a show I'll have another show tomorrow. Oh, and the secret word of the day is you. Y-O-U. You.